Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively back together for the sequel to the sleeper hit from 2018, A Simple Favor. Let's talk about Another Simple Favor. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for Another Simple Favor. This is streaming now. It is an Amazon Prime original, so that's where you can check this out. And Paul Feig returns to direct, and Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively back together in front of the camera, and some cast member changes as well. We'll get into, and of course, a whole host of new characters as the mystery and black comedy elements continue as the themes of the first film arise once again. So we'll talk about this in just a second here. First, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a Dan Reviews subscriber, well, thank you so much for that. Love when you guys return and check out my videos. But if you're not, please consider subscribing and click that notification bell. You can just like this video too or comment below. That stuff, of course, helps the channel out tremendously. All right, so I was unaware they were even doing another Simple Favor movie, but now we might have a whole Simple Favor universe. I don't know. I feel like we're seeing a lot of sequels to movies that sort of did like moderately well at the box office. So they're like, well, let's do it again. And so here we have, takes place 5 years after the first movie, and Stephanie Smothers, who is the Anna Kendrick character, she is now a famous true crime vlogger after the events of the first film, which, listen, I'm not going to get into. If you haven't seen the first one, I'm not going to even spoil that for you. But essentially, she was a sort of mom vlogger in the first movie, doing like recipes and stuff like that. But now, after the events of that film, she's into the true crime realm, and she's actually written a book about her friendship with Emily, who is the Blake Lively character, and her subsequent imprisonment. I guess that is sort of a slight spoiler maybe for the first movie. But at a signing event, she is confronted by Emily, who has been released on appeal, and she basically is blackmailing her into being her maid of honor in this Italian wedding to a family with organized crime connections. She essentially says, hey, look, you'll sell more of your book, but more importantly, I will sue you if you don't do this for, saying all the things that you said about me in the book. So they go to Capri, and Stephanie meets the family, and things go very amiss. I wouldn't even say fairly quickly, but certainly it's a build, much like the first movie was. And so you have here a lot of new faces, but Henry Golding returns, Andrew Rannells returns, Elizabeth Perkins replaces Jean Smart. My guess would be Jean Smart was unavailable because she's filming Hacks, or her price tag has risen exponentially since Hacks came on. That could be another reason. So we have Elizabeth Perkins there replacing her. Allison Janney joins the cast, Michelle Monroe, Elena Sophia, Alex Newell. So a lot of people new to this as well. All right, so that's all I guess we'll talk about with the premise, because if you do want to watch this, I would suggest going in, not knowing too much like the first movie. The first movie was something I really didn't even know what it was going to be when I saw it. I was pleasantly surprised. I very much enjoyed the first movie, and in fact, I remembered liking it a lot, but I was like, I don't really remember too much about it. So I rewatched it the day before I saw Another Simple Favor, and just loved it all over again. It's an A- film for me, the first one. So this one stumbles a lot. It is a huge downgrade from that first film, and there's a few key reasons why, but let's talk about the positives first. First of all, the chemistry between Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick is off the charts. They were so great together in that first movie. You really believed both of their characters and their motivations, and you believed that they were sort of forming this friendship. They meet at the beginning of the first movie, so we kind of watched their journey together if you didn't see it. But so here we have this huge history with them. And they sort of fall back into those roles from that first movie, though. Although Stephanie is certainly a little more confident than she was in the first picture, but their chemistry is still there. And look, Blake Lively, obviously, she's going through a whole legal thing right now with Justin Baldoni, and that's in the news. So it's hard not to watch this movie right now and not think about all of that because it's so in our faces, and that's a little unfortunate because I do think that her performance here is good, and her chemistry with Kendrick is great, and there's also the nice backdrop of Capri and all of the things that come with a movie that sort of takes us as a little bit of a travel log. So yes, that's a nice part as well. And I will say that I have mixed feelings about some of the negatives too, because this script is bonkers. It goes off the rails, I think, too quickly. And the last act, the last even like maybe just 15 minutes is so insane that the filmmakers had to know what they were doing, and like they definitely lean into it. And the first movie definitely went to some bonkers places. There's no doubt about it. But I don't know. It seemed a little more authentic in the first one. I feel like this one, they're trying too hard to A, push those envelopes, and B, go back to certain wells from the first movie that were fine where they were. But this movie like pushes them way over the edge. And yes, I think is in on the joke. I think it's a wink and a nod to the audience saying like, look, we know that this is way ratcheted up from the first movie. Please come along for the ride with us, even though we're repeating some of the things and whatever. And for me, that just didn't completely work, but I can't say it was a total miss either. That's sort of the frustrating part about this movie. It's certainly a downgrade from the first one. But I do believe that Paul Feig and the other filmmakers are in on the joke here, and they know that they're sort of, goosing up what they did in the first movie. You have to ratchet up in the sequel. We see this time and time again with sequels. But here, even though it is with a bit of a wink and a nod to the audience, I left unsatisfied at the end of this movie because it was so nuts, and there's some really bad CGI towards the end, which I think maybe is purposeful. I don't know. There's a lot of questions I have with the sincerity of this movie, and how much are they in on the joke that it's definitely too over the top. I don't know. It's hard to tell. So I don't regret watching it really, but it's a steep decline, I think, from that first A minus of a film. I leave another Simple Favor with a C. But you can check it out now on Amazon Prime if you wish. And I don't know, maybe we'll see a third one in this series. I never expected the second one, so who knows? All right, thank you for watching Dave Reviews It. I will see you next time. Bye.